Hi, Dr. Angela here for Garden Talk with Equal Ground Community Gardens in Brantford. We're talking about basil. Basil is very, very, very calming. It's actually very, very, very calming. And if you've ever tasted it before, it maybe has sort of a peppery taste to it, if you've noticed that. It's definitely a unique smelling herb and definitely a unique tasting herb, and I think that's why it's so popular. It's got a very, very bright green sheen to it. So if you're looking in your garden box and you see a herb that's very bright green, more than the others, it almost looks waxy, that would be basil. It also comes in a purple hue. It's a dark purple, and generally those have a little sharper leaves. The green basil tends to have a little bit of a more round leaf. And again, as with most herbs, if you rub the leaf and then smell it, you're going to get a much better representation of the quality of that herb. With basil in particular, you want to make sure that it doesn't flower. You want to keep maybe picking the flowers off if you want to keep having really good tasting leaves, because as soon as that herb goes to flower, the taste, the flavor that you're going to be getting out of those basil leaves goes way, way, way down. The reason for that is because the plant is now using a lot of its energy for creating that flower, which is a pollinating thing. It's how it reproduces. So we do want some to go to flower, absolutely, because we need those seeds. But at the end of the day, if you're looking to preserve your basil and keep it going, pick those flowers off so that those leaves they can continue to have a really, really great flavor, and then maybe eventually let it go to seed. You want to pick those leaves when they're small. The smaller leaves, at least in my opinion, taste a little better and a little more tender. And then with the basil, if you're cooking with it, which is a very, very common thing to do, you don't want to put the basil in while you're cooking the other vegetables. You wait till the very end, because basil loses its flavor very, very quickly when it's heated up. You want to just put it in, you turn your heat off, and you put it in at the very end and then mix it up. And that little tiny bit of heat that's there is going to enhance and bring out the flavors of that basil and give it that chance to mix into your meal. Basil's really, really great with Thai food, which is one of my favorite kinds of food, but Italian food as well. Things like fresh basil with tomato and cheese and olive oil is one of my personal favorites. I hope you enjoy basil. It does freeze well, especially if you make it into a pesto, which you can do fairly simply. It doesn't have to be complicated. Your most simple pesto would be a food processor, basil, some kind of oil, generally olive oil is the traditional, and salt. You really don't have to add anything more than that, or you can if you want. Pine nuts are a very common thing to add to it.